The Queen City Tune-Up is the next big tournament for teams competing in the Atlantic Coast region, and also the start of the season for teams like Ohio State from Ohio Valley region and Missouri from South Central. So, let's see how they did. In Pool A, UNC took care of business, but came out with the worst point differential for a pool winner. They were likely resting their starters for their games, but I thought it was worth mentioning. The most exciting matchup came between McGill and the Seamen, where the winner would take second in the pool. With the score tied 11-11, McGill scored a break, taking a 12-11 lead. Wilmington had an opportunity to respond with a break of their own, but missed it, and McGill was able to hold and keep their lead. Now, do or die, the Seamen needed a hold to stay alive. McGill wins 14-12, breaking seed and giving them the second spot in the pool, while the Seamen have to settle for third. The most thrilling matchup in this pool came between Ohio State, Leadbelly, and NC State Alpha. Sorry for calling you guys Wolfpack in the last video. There's another team I know that was called Wolfpack. I just got mixed up. My mistake. Anyway, Ohio State managed to take Alpha to a universe point, but they couldn't pull off the upset, and NC State took the pool, leaving Ohio State in an impressive second. The Penn State Spank are proving to be real contenders in the Ohio Valley region, handily beating Skyrise and the region competitors in Case Western Reserve. Harvard did well, losing badly to Spank and Skyrise, but were able to win their other two games, moving on to Sunday bracket. The big story in Pool D is between 9th-seeded Missouri and 20th-seeded Tennessee, where the Prohibition pulled off a 15-9 upset to take third in the pool, winning off of a tiebreaker. Despite being seeded last in the tournament, they move on to the championship bracket. Speaking of championship bracket, it's time for the best day of the tournament. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. In the first round, McGill handily beat the Probation. The Seamen beat off Gamecock. No, wait. The Cocks edged out Seamen. No. The Gamecocks lost Seamen? NC Wilmington took the dub over South Carolina. The Skyrise were able to fend off the Hellfish. And the Ohio State-Harvard game was a close one. Ohio State led early with 2 breaks. But Harvard was able to recover.
Fuck out of here, boy. Get that weak shit out of here.
Closing the gap with 2 breaks of their own. And Harvard led 7-6 going into halftime.
You in black.
But Ohio started to take over, scoring 3 straight points to take the lead.
Not in my house.
Harvard weren't able to recover a second time, and Ohio State went on to win 11-8. In the quarterfinals, Spank eliminated the Seamen. The Nightmares were able to beat the Skyrise 11-7. North Carolina took care of Ohio, and it looked like Alpha was going to take care of McGill. At one point, leading 4-9. But McGill started to come back. They held on offense and then broke. Then went on a hold and broke again. But unfortunately, the cap went off, and the game ended 8-10. The semifinal matchups were close, with Penn State upsetting Alpha by 2. And in the Dark Side Nightmares game, UNC started the game off strong with a hold. Then went on to score not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 straight breaks to take a towering 5-0 lead. But to the Nightmares' credit, they began to score and convert breaks, only trailing by 3 at the half.
Holy shit.
And in the second half, the Nightmares continued to fight, scoring 2 more breaks, putting the Nightmare in a position to take back the game. Then, this happened.
Holy shit.
Unfortunately, UNC's number 51, Kevin Pignone, made a controversial foul call, sending the disc back. Do you guys think this was the right call? Let me know in the comments. UNC broke to win, escaping from the Nightmares' comeback. And at last, we arrive at the final match of the weekend between Pennsylvania State Spank and North Carolina Darkside. After a miscue from Darkside, Penn State were able to break to start the game. Then, Spank had another chance to break,
Fuck out of here, boy. Get that weak.
but couldn't convert, and Darkside went on to hold and break. Spank continued to hold strong, scoring on O-line, then converting another break, taking the lead back from Darkside. Darkside's offense initiated out of a split stack with 2 dumps or a normal hoe stack. Spank's defense countered by running lanes and, when UNC was in hoe, poached the pull play with everyone playing underneath and one man playing over top. Spank's offense exclusively initiated out of a hoe stack and started to initiate out of a vert stack in the second half. After the initial pool play, they would flow into a vert stack. Darkside's defense would play in the lanes on the pull play and also run force middle. With the score tied 7-7, Penn State had the opportunity to go into half with a lead. The first time this season Darkside would go into halftime trailing.
You in black.
But it wasn't meant to be, and Darkside broke to take half 8-7. Coming out of the half, Spank were able to hold, but Darkside's defense was fired up
Fuck out of here, boy. Get that weak shit out.
and started to force more turns and more breaks. And eventually, Darkside went on a 4-point run, where they broke to win 15-9. The Spank honestly had an extremely impressive performance in the first half, going toe-to-toe with the best team in the country. They scored the same number of breaks as Darkside. But once Darkside picks up momentum, they're hard to stop, and they were able to pull away. Also, something to point out, when Darkside turned over the disc on offense, it was often caused by a bad pass or a drop. They were beating themselves. But when Penn State committed turnovers, it was almost always due to a Darkside defender getting a hand on the disc, making a play to force the turnover. I think Darkside's defense is what makes them so successful. Finally, I think MVP of the game goes to Jason Manning for throwing 1 assist and catching 4 scores, all of which came on D-line. Sorry for totally lying when I said I was going to do Pres Day next, but this time, I'm serious. The next tournament is going to be President's Day. I'm also going to be out of town this upcoming weekend, so the upload for Pres Day is going to be a little later than usual. If you haven't already joined the Discord, it's a place for College Ultimate players to talk Frisbee, post highlights, post footage from games, or just hang out. The link is in the description. Like the video if you liked it, or dislike if you disliked it. I'll see you all in the next recap. And of course, always lay out.